Augustus does his bit. A true-to-life farce ******. Augustus does his bit. A true-to-life farce by George Bernard Shaw. Augustus does his bit. I wish to express my gratitude for certain good offices which Augustus secured for me in January, 1917. I had been invited to visit the theatre of war in Flanders by the Commander-in-Chief, an invitation which was, under the circumstances, a summons to duty. Thus I had occasion to spend some days in procuring the necessary passport and other official facilities for my journey. It happened just then that the Stage Society gave a performance of this little play. It opened the heart of every official to me. I have always been treated with distinguished consideration in my contracts with bureaucracy during the war, but on this occasion I found myself persona grata in the highest degree. There was only one word when the formalities were disposed of, and that was "We are up against Augustus all day." The showing up of Augustus scandalized one or two innocent and patriotic critics who regarded the prowess of the British Army as inextricably bound up with high castle prestige. But our government departments knew better. Their problem was how to win the war with Augustus on their backs, well-meaning, brave, patriotic, but obstructively fussy, self-important, imbecile, and disastrous. Save for the satisfaction of being able to laugh at Augustus in the theatre, nothing, as far as I know, came of my dramatic reduction of him to absurdity. Generals, admirals, prime ministers and controllers, not to mention emperors, kaisers and tsars, were scrapped remorselessly at home and abroad, for their sins or services, as the case might be. But Augustus stood like the Eddystone in a storm, and stands so to this day. He gave us his word that he was indispensable and we took it. Augustus Does His Bit was performed for the first time at the Court Theatre in London by the Stage Society on the 21st of January, 1917, with Lalla Vandervelde as the lady, F.B.J. Sharp as Lord Augustus Highcastle, and Charles Rock as Horatio Floyd Beamish. Augustus Does His Bit. The Mayor's Parlour in the Town Hall of Little Pifflington. Lord Augustus Highcastle, a distinguished member of the governing class, in the uniform of a colonel, and very well preserved at 45, is comfortably seated at a writing table with his heels on it, reading the Morning Post. The door faces him, a little to his left, at the other side of the room. The window is behind him. In the fireplace, a gas stove. On the table a bell button and a telephone. Portraits of past mayors, in robes and gold chains, adorn the walls. An elderly clerk with a short white beard and whiskers, and a very red nose, shuffles in. Augustus, hastily putting aside his paper and replacing his feet on the floor. "Hello. Who are you?" "The clerk." The staff. A slight impediment in his speech adds to the impression of incompetence produced by his age and appearance. Augustus. "You the staff? What do you mean, man?" The clerk. "What I say. There ain't anybody else." Augustus. "Tush. Where are the others?" The clerk. "At the front." Augustus. Quite right. Most proper. Why aren't you at the front? The clerk. Over age. 57. Augustus. But you can still do your bit. Many an older man is in the G.RS, or volunteering for home defense. The clerk. I have volunteered. Augustus. Then why are you not in uniform? The clerk. They said they wouldn't have me if I was given away with a pound of tea. Told me to go home and not be an old silly. A sense of unbearable wrong, till now only smouldering in him, bursts into flame. Young Bill Knight, that I took with me, got 2 and 7 pence. I got nothing. Is it justice? This country is going to the dogs, if you ask me. Augustus, rising indignantly. I do not ask you, sir, and I will not allow you to say such things in my presence. Our statesmen are the greatest known to history. Our generals are invincible. Our army is the admiration of the world. Furiously. How dare you tell me that the country is going to the dogs? The clerk. Why did they give young Bill Knight 2 and 7 pence, and not give me even my tram fare? Do you call that being great statesmen? As good as robbing me, I call it. Augustus. That's enough. Leave the room. He sits down and takes up his pen, settling himself to work. The clerk shuffles to the door. Augustus adds, with cold politeness, send me the secretary. The clerk. I'm the secretary. I can't leave the room and send myself to you at the same time, can I? Augustus, don't be insolent. Where is the gentleman I have been corresponding with, Mr. Horatio Floyd Beamish? The clerk, returning and bowing. Here. Me. Augustus. You. Ridiculous. What right have you to call yourself by a pretentious name of that sort? The clerk. You may drop the Horatio Floyd. Beamish is good enough for me. Augustus. Is there nobody else to take my instructions? The clerk. It's me or nobody. And for 2 pins I'd chuck it. Don't you drive me too far. Old uns like me is up in the world now. Augustus. If we were not at war, I should discharge you on the spot for disrespectful behavior. But England is in danger, and I cannot think of my personal dignity at such a moment. Shouting at him. Don't you think of yours, either, worm that you are, or I'll have you arrested under the Defense of the Realm Act, double quick. The clerk. What do I care about the realm? They done me out of 2 and 7, Augustus. Oh, damn your 2 and 7. Did you receive my letters? The clerk. Yes. Augustus. I addressed a meeting here last night, went straight to the platform from the train. I wrote to you that I should expect you to be present and report yourself. Why did you not do so? The clerk. The police wouldn't let me on the platform. Augustus. Did you tell them who you were? The clerk. They knew who I was. That's why they wouldn't let me up. Augustus. This is too silly for anything. This town wants waking up. I made the best recruiting speech I ever made in my life, and not a man joined. The clerk. What did you expect? You told them our gallant fellows is falling at the rate of 1,000 a day in the big push. Dying for little Pifflington, you says. Come and take their places, you says. That ain't the way to recruit. Augustus. But I expressly told them their widows would have pensions. The clerk. I heard you. Would have been all right if it had been the widows you wanted to get round. Augustus, rising angrily. This town is inhabited by dastards. I say it with a full sense of responsibility, dastards. They call themselves Englishmen, and they are afraid to fight. The clerk. Afraid to fight. You should see them on a Saturday night. Augustus. Yes, they fight one another, but they won't fight the Germans. The clerk. They got grudges again one another. How can they have grudges again the Huns that they never saw? They've no imagination, that's what it is. Bring the Huns here, and they'll quarrel with them fast enough. Augustus, returning to his seat with a grunt of disgust. MF. They'll have them here if they're not careful. Seated. Have you carried out my orders about the war saving? The clerk. Yes. Augustus. The allowance of petrol has been reduced by 3/4. The clerk. It has. Augustus. And you have told the motorcar people to come here and arrange to start munition work now that their motor business is stopped. The clerk. It ain't stopped. They're busier than ever. Augustus. Busy at what? The clerk. Making small cars. Augustus. New cars. The clerk. The old cars only do 12 miles to the gallon. Everybody has to have a car that will do 35 now. Augustus. Can't they take the train? The clerk. There ain't no trains now. They've tore up the rails and sent them to the front. Augustus. Pshaw. The clerk. Well, we have to get about somehow. Augustus. This is perfectly monstrous. Not in the least what I intended. The clerk. Hell, Augustus. Sir. The clerk, explaining. Hell, they says, is paved with good intentions. Augustus, springing to his feet. Do you mean to insinuate that hell is paved with my good intentions, with the good intentions of His Majesty's government? The clerk. I don't mean to insinuate anything until the Defence of the Realm Act is repealed. It ain't safe. Augustus. They told me that this town had set an example to all England in the matter of economy. I came down here to promise the mayor a knighthood for his exertions. The clerk. The mayor. Where do I come in? Augustus. You don't come in. You go out. This is a fool of a place. I'm greatly disappointed. Deeply disappointed. Flinging himself back into his chair. Disgusted. The clerk. What more can we do? We've shut up everything. The picture gallery is shut. The museum is shut. The theaters and picture shows is shut. I haven't seen a movie picture for 6 months. Augustus. Man, do you want to see picture shows when the Hun is at the gate? The clerk, mournfully. I don't now, though it drove me melancholy mad at first. I was on the point of taking a pennorth of rat poison, Augustus. Why didn't you? The clerk. Because a friend advised me to take to drink instead. That saved my life, though it makes me very poor company in the mornings, as, hiccuping, perhaps you've noticed. Augustus. Well, upon my soul. You are not ashamed to stand there and confess yourself a disgusting drunkard. The clerk. Well, what of it? We're at war now, and everything's changed. Besides, I should lose my job here if I stood drinking at the bar. I'm a respectable man and must buy my drink and take it home with me. And they won't serve me with less than a quart. If you'd told me before the war that I could get through a quart of whiskey in a day, I shouldn't have believed you. That's the good of war, it brings out powers in a man that he never suspected himself capable of. You said so yourself in your speech last night. Augustus. I did not know that I was talking to an imbecile. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. There must be an end of this drunken slacking. I'm going to establish a new order of things here. I shall come down every morning before breakfast until things are properly in train. Have a cup of coffee and 2 rolls for me here every morning at 10:30. The clerk. You can't have no rolls. The only baker that baked rolls was a Hun, and he's been interned. Augustus. Quite right, too. And was there no Englishman to take his place? The clerk. There was. But he was caught spying, and they took him up to London and shot him. Augustus. Shot an Englishman. The clerk. Well, it stands to reason if the Germans wanted to spy they wouldn't employ a German that everybody would suspect, don't it? Augustus, rising again. Do you mean to say, you scoundrel, that an Englishman is capable of selling his country to the enemy for gold? The clerk. Not as a general thing I wouldn't say it. But there's men here would sell their own mothers for 2 coppers if they got the chance. Augustus. Beamish, it's an ill bird that fouls its own nest. The clerk. It wasn't me that let little Pifflington get foul. I don't belong to the governing classes. I only tell you why you can't have no rolls. Augustus, intensely irritated. Can you tell me where I can find an intelligent being to take my orders? The clerk. One of the street sweepers used to teach in the school until it was shut up for the sake of economy. Will he do? Augustus. What? You mean to tell me that when the lives of the gallant fellows in our trenches, and the fate of the British Empire, depend on our keeping up the supply of shells, you are wasting money on sweeping the streets? The clerk. We have to. We dropped it for a while, but the infant death rate went up something frightful. Augustus. What matters the death rate of little Pifflington in a moment like this? Think of our gallant soldiers, not of your squalling infants. The clerk. If you want soldiers you must have children. You can't buy 'em in boxes, like toy soldiers. Augustus. Beamish, the long and the short of it is, you are no patriot. Go downstairs to your office, and have that gas stove taken away and replaced by an ordinary grate. The Board of Trade has urged on me the necessity for economizing gas. The clerk. Our orders from the Minister of Munitions is to use gas instead of coal, because it saves material. Which is it to be? Augustus, bawling furiously at him. Both. Don't criticize your orders, obey them. Yours not to reason why, yours but to do and die. That's war. Cooling down. Have you anything else to say? The clerk. Yes, I want a rise. Augustus, reeling against the table in his horror. A rise. Horatio Floyd Beamish, do you know that we are at war? The clerk, feebly ironical. I have noticed something about it in the papers. Heard you mention it once or twice, now I come to think of it. Augustus. Our gallant fellows are dying in the trenches, and you want a rise. The clerk. What are they dying for? To keep me alive, ain't it? Well, what's the good of that if I'm dead of hunger by the time they come back? Augustus. Everybody else is making sacrifices without a thought of self, and you, the clerk. Not half, they ain't. Where's the baker's sacrifice? Where's the coal merchant's? Where's the butcher's? Charging me double, that's how they sacrifice themselves. Well, I want to sacrifice myself that way too. Just double next Saturday, double and not a penny less, or no secretary for you. He stiffens himself shakily, and makes resolutely for the door. Augustus, looking after him contemptuously. Go, miserable pro-German. The clerk, rushing back and facing him. Who are you calling a pro-German? Augustus. Another word, and I charge you under the Act with discouraging me. Go. The clerk blenches and goes out, cowed. The telephone rings. Augustus, taking up the telephone receiver. Hello. Yes, who are you? Oh, Blue, is it? Yes, there's nobody in the room, fire away. What? A spy? A woman. Yes, brought it down with me. Do you suppose I'm such a fool as to let it out of my hands? Why, it gives a list of all our anti-aircraft emplacements from Ramsgate to Skegness. The Germans would give $1 million for it, what? But how could she possibly know about it? I haven't mentioned it to a soul, except, of course, dear Lucy. Oh, Toto and Lady Popham and that lot, they don't count, they're all right. I mean that I haven't mentioned it to any Germans. Pooh! Don't you be nervous, old chap. I know you think me a fool, but I'm not such a fool as all that. If she tries to get it out of me, I'll have her in the tower before you ring up again. The clerk returns. Shh. Somebody's just come in, ring off. Goodbye. He hangs up the receiver. The clerk. Are you engaged? His manner is strangely softened. Augustus. What business is that of yours? However, if you will take the trouble to read the society papers for this week, you will see that I am engaged to the Honorable Lucy Popham, youngest daughter of the clerk. That ain't what I mean. Can you see a female? Augustus. Of course I can see a female as easily as a male. Do you suppose I'm blind? The clerk. You don't seem to follow me, somehow. There's a female downstairs, what you might call a lady. She wants to know, can you see her if I let her up? Augustus. Oh, you mean am I disengaged? Tell the lady I have just received news of the greatest importance which will occupy my entire attention for the rest of the day, and that she must write for an appointment. The clerk. I'll ask her to explain her business to me. I ain't above talking to a handsome young female when I get the chance. Going. Augustus. Stop. Does she seem to be a person of consequence? The clerk. A regular marchioness, if you ask me. Augustus. H.M. Beautiful, did you say? The clerk. A human chrysanthemum, sir, believe me. Augustus. It will be extremely inconvenient for me to see her, but the country is in danger, and we must not consider our own comfort. Think how our gallant fellows are suffering in the trenches. Show her up. The clerk makes for the door, whistling the latest popular ballad. Stop whistling instantly, sir. This is not a casino. Clerk. Ain't it? You just wait till you see her. He goes out. Augustus produces a mirror, a comb, and a pot of moustache pomade from the drawer of the writing table, and sits down before the mirror to put some touches to his toilet. The clerk returns, devotedly ushering a very attractive lady, brilliantly dressed. She has a dainty wallet hanging from her wrist. Augustus hastily covers up his toilet apparatus with the Morning Post, and rises in an attitude of pompous condescension. The clerk, to Augustus. Here she is. To the lady. May I offer you a chair, lady? He places a chair at the writing table opposite Augustus, and steals out on tiptoe. Augustus. Be seated, madam. The lady, sitting down. Are you Lord Augustus High Castle? Augustus, sitting also. Madam, I am. Thai lady, with awe. The great Lord Augustus. Augustus. I should not dream of describing myself so, madam, but no doubt I have impressed my countrymen, and, bowing gallantly, may I say my countrywomen, as having some exceptional claims to their consideration. The lady, emotionally. What a beautiful voice you have. Augustus. What you hear, madam, is the voice of my country, which now takes a sweet and noble tone even in the harsh mouth of high officialism. The lady. Please go on. You express yourself so wonderfully. Augustus. It would be strange indeed if, after sitting on 37 royal commissions, mostly as chairman, I had not mastered the art of public expression. Even the radical papers have paid me the high compliment of declaring that I am never more impressive than when I have nothing to say. The lady. I never read the radical papers. All I can tell you is that what we women admire in you is not the politician, but the man of action, the heroic warrior, the beau sabrier. Augustus, gloomily. Madam, I beg. Please. My military exploits are not a pleasant subject, unhappily. The lady. Oh, I know, I know. How shamefully you have been treated. What ingratitude. But the country is with you. The women are with you. Oh, do you think all our hearts did not throb and all our nerves thrill when we heard how, when you were ordered to occupy that terrible quarry in Harlech, and you swept into it at the head of your men like a sea god riding on a tidal wave, you suddenly sprang over the top shouting to Berlin. Forward, dashed at the German army single-handed, and were cut off and made prisoner by the Huns. Augustus. Yes, madam, and what was my reward? They said I had disobeyed orders, and sent me home. Have they forgotten Nelson in the Baltic? Has any British battle ever been won except by a bold initiative? I say nothing of professional jealousy, it exists in the army as elsewhere, but it is a bitter thought to me that the recognition denied me by my country, or rather by the radical cabal in the cabinet which pursues my family with rancorous class hatred, that this recognition, I say, came to me at the hands of an enemy, of a rank Prussian. The lady. You don't say so. Augustus. How else should I be here instead of starving to death in Ruhleben? Yes, madam, the colonel of the Pomeranian regiment which captured me, after learning what I had done, and conversing for an hour with me on European politics and military strategy, declared that nothing would induce him to deprive my country of my services, and set me free. I offered, of course, to procure the release in exchange of a German officer of equal quality, but he would not hear of it. He was kind enough to say he could not believe that a German officer answering to that description existed. With emotion. I had my first taste of the ingratitude of my own country as I made my way back to our lines. A shot from our front trench struck me in the head. I still carry the flattened projectile as a trophy. He throws it on the table, the noise it makes testifies to its weight. Had it penetrated to the brain, I might never have sat on another royal commission. Fortunately we have strong heads, we high castles. Nothing has ever penetrated to our brains. The lady. How thrilling! How simple! And how tragic! But you will forgive England. Remember, England. Forgive her. Augustus, with gloomy magnanimity. It will make no difference whatever to my services to my country. Though she slay me, yet will I, if not exactly trust in her, at least take my part in her government. I am ever at my country's call. Whether it be the embassy in a leading European capital, a governor-generalship in the tropics, or my humble mission here to make little Pifflington do its bit, I am always ready for the sacrifice. Whilst England remains England, wherever there is a public job to be done you will find a high castle sticking to it. And now, madam, enough of my tragic personal history. You have called on business. What can I do for you? The lady. You have relatives at the Foreign Office, have you not? Augustus, haughtily. Madam, the Foreign Office is staffed by my relatives exclusively. The lady. Has the Foreign Office warned you that you are being pursued by a female spy who is determined to obtain possession of a certain list of gun emplacements? Augustus, interrupting her somewhat loftily. All that is perfectly well known to this department, madam. The lady, surprised and rather indignant. Is it? Who told you? Was it one of your German brothers-in-law? Augustus, injured, remonstrating. I have only 3 German brothers-in-law, madam. Really, from your tone, one would suppose that I had several. Pardon my sensitiveness on that subject, but reports are continually being circulated that I have been shot as a traitor in the courtyard of the Ritz Hotel simply because I have German brothers-in-law. With feeling. If you had a German brother-in-law, madam, you would know that nothing else in the world produces so strong an anti-German feeling. Life affords no keener pleasure than finding a brother-in-law's name in the German casualty list. The lady. Nobody knows that better than I. Wait until you hear what I have come to tell you, you will understand me as no one else could. Listen. This spy, this woman, Augustus, all attention. Yes. The lady. She is a German. A Hun. Augustus. Yes, yes. She would be. Continue. The lady. She is my sister-in-law. Augustus, deferentially. I see you are well connected, madam. Proceed. The lady. Need I add that she is my bitterest enemy? Augustus. May I? He proffers his hand. They shake, fervently. From this moment onward Augustus becomes more and more confidential, gallant, and charming. The lady. Quite so. Well, she is an intimate friend of your brother at the War Office, Hungerford High Castle, Blulu as you call him, I don't know why. Augustus, explaining. He was originally called the Singing Oyster, because he sang drawing-room ballads with such an extraordinary absence of expression. He was then called the Blue Point for a season or two. Finally he became Blulu. The lady. Oh, indeed, I didn't know. Well, Blulu is simply infatuated with my sister-in-law, and he has rashly let out to her that this list is in your possession. He forgot himself because he was in a towering rage at its being entrusted to you. His language was terrible. He ordered all the guns to be shifted at once. Augustus. What on earth did he do that for? The lady. I can't imagine. But this I know. She made a bet with him that she would come down here and obtain possession of that list and get clean away into the street with it. He took the bet on condition that she brought it straight back to him at the War Office. Augustus. Good heavens! And you mean to tell me that Blulu was such a dolt as to believe that she could succeed? Does he take me for a fool? The lady. Oh, impossible. He is jealous of your intellect. The bet is an insult to you, don't you feel that? After what you have done for our country, Augustus. Oh, never mind that. It is the idiocy of the thing I look at. He'll lose his bet, and serve him right. The lady. You feel sure you will be able to resist the siren? I warn you, she is very fascinating. Augustus. You need have no fear, madam. I hope she will come and try it on. Fascination is a game that two can play at. For centuries the younger sons of the high castles have had nothing to do but fascinate attractive females when they were not sitting on royal commissions or on duty at Knightsbridge barracks. By gad, madam, if the siren comes here she will meet her match. The lady. I feel that. But if she fails to seduce you, Augustus, blushing. Madam. The lady, continuing, from your allegiance, Augustus. Oh, that. The lady. She will resort to fraud, to force, to anything. She will burgle your office, she will have you attacked and garroted at night in the street. Augustus. Pooh! I'm not afraid. The lady. Oh, your courage will only tempt you into danger. She may get the list after all. It is true that the guns are moved. But she would win her bet. Augustus, cautiously. You did not say that the guns were moved. You said that Blulu had ordered them to be moved. The lady. Well, that is the same thing, isn't it? Augustus. Not quite, at the War Office. No doubt those guns will be moved, possibly even before the end of the war. The lady. Then you think they are there still? but if the German War Office gets the list, and she will copy it before she gives it back to Blulu, you may depend on it, all is lost. Augustus, lazily. Well, I should not go as far as that. Lowering his voice. Will you swear to me not to repeat what I am going to say to you, for if the British public knew that I had said it, I should be at once hounded down as a pro-German. The lady. I will be silent as the grave. I swear it. Augustus, again taking it easily. Well, our people have for some reason made up their minds that the German War Office is everything that our War Office is not, that it carries promptitude, efficiency, and organization to a pitch of completeness and perfection that must be, in my opinion, destructive to the happiness of the staff. My own view, which you are pledged, remember, not to betray, is that the German War Office is no better than any other war office. I found that opinion on my observation of the characters of my brothers-in-law, one of whom, by the way, is on the German General Staff. I am not at all sure that this list of gun emplacements would receive the smallest attention. You see, there are always so many more important things to be attended to. Family matters, and so on, you understand. The lady. Still, if a question were asked in the House of Commons, Augustus. The great advantage of being at war, madam, is that nobody takes the slightest notice of the House of Commons. No doubt it is sometimes necessary for a minister to soothe the more seditious members of that assembly by giving a pledge or two, but the War Office takes no notice of such things. The lady, staring at him. Then you think this list of gun emplacements doesn't matter? Augustus. By no means, madam. It matters very much indeed. If this spy were to obtain possession of the list, Blulu would tell the story at every dinner table in London, and, the lady. And you might lose your post. Of course. Augustus, amazed and indignant. I lose my post. What are you dreaming about, madam? How could I possibly be spared? There are hardly high castles enough at present to fill half the posts created by this war. No, Blulu would not go that far. He is at least a gentleman. But I should be chaffed, and, frankly, I don't like being chaffed. The lady. Of course not. Who does? It would never do. Oh, never, never. Augustus. I'm glad you see it in that light. And now, as a measure of security, I shall put that list in my pocket. He begins searching vainly from drawer to drawer in the writing table. Where on earth? What the dickens did I? That's very odd. Where the deuce? I thought I had put it in the, oh, here it is. No, this is Lucy's last letter. The lady, elegiacally. Lucy's last letter. What a title for a picture play. Augustus, delighted. Yes, it is, isn't it? Lucy appeals to the imagination like no other woman. By the way, handing over the letter, I wonder could you read it for me? Lucy is a darling girl, but I really can't read her writing. In London I get the office typist to decipher it and make me a typed copy, but here there is nobody. The lady, puzzling over it. It is really almost illegible. I think the beginning is meant for dearest Gus. Augustus, eagerly. Yes, that is what she usually calls me. Please go on. The lady, trying to decipher it. What a, oh yes, what a forgetful old, something, you are. I can't make out the word. Augustus, greatly interested. Is it blighter? That is a favorite expression of hers. The lady. I think so. At all events it begins with a B, reading dot. What a forgetful old, she is interrupted by a knock at the door dot. Augustus, impatiently. Come in. The clerk enters, clean-shaven and in khaki, with an official paper and an envelope in his hand dot. What is this ridiculous mummery, sir? The clerk, coming to the table and exhibiting his uniform to both. They've passed me. The recruiting officer come for me. I've had my 2 and 7. Augustus, rising wrathfully. I shall not permit it. What do they mean by taking my office staff? Good God! They will be taking our hunt servants next. Confronting the clerk dot. What did the man mean? What did he say? The clerk. He said that now you was on the job we'd want another 1,000,000 men, and he was going to take the old age pensioners or anyone he could get. Augustus. And did you dare to knock at my door and interrupt my business with this lady to repeat this man's ineptitudes? The clerk. No, I come because the waiter from the hotel brought this paper. You left it on the coffee room breakfast table this morning. The lady, intercepting it. It is the list. Good heavens! The clerk, proffering the envelope. He says he thinks this is the envelope belonging to it. The lady, snatching the envelope also. Yes. Addressed to you, Lord Augustus. Augustus comes back to the table to look at it dot. Oh, how imprudent. Everybody would guess its importance with your name on it. Fortunately I have some letters of my own here, opening her wallet dot. Why not hide it in one of my envelopes? Then no one will dream that the enclosure is of any political value. Taking out a letter, she crosses the room towards the window, whispering to Augustus as she passes him dot. Get rid of that man. Augustus, haughtily approaching the clerk, who humorously makes a paralytic attempt to stand at attention. Have you any further business here, pray? The clerk. Am I to give the waiter anything, or will you do it yourself? Augustus. Which waiter is it? The English one. The clerk. No, the one that calls hisself a Swiss. Shouldn't wonder if he'd made a copy of that paper. Augustus. Keep your impertinent surmises to yourself, sir. Remember that you are in the army now, and let me have no more of your civilian insubordination. Attention! Left turn. Quick march. The clerk, stolidly. I dunno what you mean. Augustus. Go to the guardroom and report yourself for disobeying orders. Now do you know what I mean? The clerk. Now look here. I ain't going to argue with you, Augustus. Nor I with you. Out with you. He seizes the clerk, and rushes him through the door. The moment the lady is left alone, she snatches a sheet of official paper from the stationery rack, folds it so that it resembles the list, compares the two to see that they look exactly alike, whips the list into her wallet, and substitutes the facsimile for it. Then she listens for the return of Augustus. A crash is heard, as of the clerk falling downstairs. Augustus returns and is about to close the door when the voice of the clerk is heard from below. The clerk. I'll have the law of you for this, I will. Augustus, shouting down to him. There's no more law for you, you scoundrel. You're a soldier now. He shuts the door and comes to the lady. Thank heaven, the war has given us the upper hand of these fellows at last. Excuse my violence, but discipline is absolutely necessary in dealing with the lower middle classes. The lady. Serve the insolent creature right. Look, I have found you a beautiful envelope for the list, an unmistakable lady's envelope. She puts the sham list into her envelope and hands it to him. Augustus. Excellent. Really very clever of you. Slyly. Come, would you like to have a peep at the list? Beginning to take the blank paper from the envelope. The lady, on the brink of detection. No, no. Oh, please, no. Augustus. Why? It won't bite you, drawing it out further. The lady, snatching at his hand. Stop. Remember, if there should be an inquiry, you must be able to swear that you never showed that list to a mortal soul. Augustus. Oh, that is a mere form. If you are really curious, the lady. I am not. I couldn't bear to look at it. One of my dearest friends was blown to pieces by an aircraft gun, and since then I have never been able to think of one without horror. Augustus. You mean it was a real gun, and actually went off? How sad. How sad. He pushes the sham list back into the envelope, and pockets it. The lady. Ah. Great sigh of relief. And now, Lord Augustus, I have taken up too much of your valuable time. Goodbye. Augustus. What? Must you go? The lady. You are so busy. Augustus. Yes, but not before lunch, you know. I never can do much before lunch. And I'm no good at all in the afternoon. From 5 to 6 is my real working time. Must you really go? The lady. I must, really. I have done my business very satisfactorily. Thank you ever so much, she proffers her hand. Augustus, shaking it affectionately as he leads her to the door, but fast pressing the bell button with his left hand. Goodbye. Goodbye. So sorry to lose you. Kind of you to come, but there was no real danger. You see, my dear little lady, all this talk about war saving, and secrecy, and keeping the blinds down at night, and so forth, is all very well, but unless it's carried out with intelligence, believe me, you may waste £1 to save a penny, you may let out all sorts of secrets to the enemy, you may guide the Zeppelins right onto your own chimneys. That's where the ability of the governing class comes in. Shall the fellow call a taxi for you? The lady. No, thanks, I prefer walking. Goodbye. Again, many thanks. She goes out. Augustus returns to the writing table smiling, and takes another look at himself in the mirror. The clerk returns, with his head bandaged, carrying a poker. The clerk. What did you ring for? Augustus hastily drops the mirror. Don't you come nigh me or I'll split your head with this poker, thick as it is. Augustus. It does not seem to me an exceptionally thick poker. I rang for you to show the lady out. The clerk. She's gone. She ran out like a rabbit. I ask myself why was she in such a hurry? The lady's voice, from the street. Lord Augustus. Lord Augustus. The clerk. She's calling you. Augustus, running to the window and throwing it up. What is it? Won't you come up? The lady. Is the clerk there? Augustus. Yes. Do you want him? The lady. Yes. Augustus. The lady wants you at the window. The clerk, rushing to the window and putting down the poker. Yes, Here I am, What is it, The lady. I want you to witness that I got clean away into the street. I am coming up now. The two men stare at one another. The clerk. Wants me to witness that she got clean away into the street. Augustus. What on earth does she mean? The lady returns. The lady. May I use your telephone? Augustus. Certainly. Certainly. Taking the receiver down. What number shall I get you? The lady. The War Office, please. Augustus. The War Office. The lady. If you will be so good. Augustus. But, oh, very well. Into the receiver. Hello. This is the Town Hall Recruiting Office. Give me Colonel Bogey, sharp. A pause. The clerk, breaking the painful silence. I don't think I'm awake. This is a dream of a movie picture, this is. Augustus, his ear at the receiver. Shut up, will you? Into the telephone. What? To the lady. Whom do you want to get onto? The lady. Blulu. Augustus, into the telephone. Put me through to Lord Hungerford High Castle. I'm his brother, idiot. That you, Blulu? Lady here at Little Pifflington wants to speak to you. Hold the line. To the lady. Now, madam, he hands her the receiver. The lady, sitting down in Augustus's chair to speak into the telephone. Is that Blulu? Do you recognize my voice? I've won our bet. Augustus. Your bet? The lady, into the telephone. Yes, I have the list in my wallet. Augustus. Nothing of the kind, madam. I have it here in my pocket. He takes the envelope from his pocket, draws out the paper, and unfolds it. The lady, continuing. Yes, I got clean into the street with it. I have a witness. I could have got to London with it. Augustus won't deny it. Augustus, contemplating the blank paper. There's nothing written on this. Where is the list of guns? The lady, continuing. Oh, it was quite easy. I said I was my sister-in-law and that I was a Hun. He lapped it up like a kitten. Augustus. You don't mean to say that, the lady, continuing. I got hold of the list for a moment and changed it for a piece of paper out of his stationery rack. It was quite easy. She laughs, and it is clear that Blulu is laughing too. Augustus. What? The clerk, laughing slowly and laboriously, with intense enjoyment. Ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha. Augustus rushes at him, he snatches up the poker and stands on guard. No you don't. The lady, still at the telephone, waving her disengaged hand behind her impatiently at them to stop making a noise. Sh. Augustus, with a shrug, goes up the middle of the room. The lady resumes her conversation with the telephone. What? Oh yes, I'm coming up by the 1.35, why not have tea with me at Rumpelmeister's? Rumpelmeister's? You know, they call it Robinson's now. Right. Ta-ta. She hangs up the receiver, and is passing round the table on her way towards the door when she is confronted by Augustus. Augustus. Madam, I consider your conduct most unpatriotic. You make bets and abuse the confidence of the hard-worked officials who are doing their bit for their country whilst our gallant fellows are perishing in the trenches. The lady. Oh, the gallant fellows are not all in the trenches, Augustus. Some of them have come home for a few days' hard-earned leave, and I am sure you won't grudge them a little fun at your expense. The clerk. Here. Here. Augustus, amiably. Ah, well. For my country's sake. Asterisk end of the Project Gutenberg ebook. Augustus does his bit. A true-to-life farce. Updated editions will replace the previous one. The old editions will be renamed Creating the works from print editions not protected by U.S. copyright law means that no one owns a United States copyright in these works, so the Foundation, and you, can copy and distribute it in the United States without permission and without paying copyright royalties. Special rules, set forth in the general terms of use part of this license, apply to copying and distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept and trademark. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark, and may not be used if you charge for an ebook, except by following the terms of the trademark license, including paying royalties for use of the Project Gutenberg trademark. If you do not charge anything for copies of this ebook, complying with the trademark license is very easy. You may use this ebook for nearly any purpose such as creation of derivative works, reports, performances and research. Project Gutenberg ebooks may be modified and printed and given away. You may do practically anything in the United States with ebooks not protected by U.S. copyright law. Redistribution is subject to the trademark license, especially commercial redistribution. Start. Full license. The full Project Gutenberg license. Please read this before you distribute or use this work to protect the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting the free distribution of electronic works. By using or distributing this work, or any other work associated in any way with the phrase Project Gutenberg, you agree to comply with all the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license available with this file or online at www.gutenberg.org/license. Section 1. General Terms of Use and Redistributing Project Gutenberg Trademark Symbol Electronic Works 1.0. By reading or using any part of this Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work, you indicate that you have read, understand, agree to and accept all the terms of this license and intellectual property, trademark/copyright, agreement. If you do not agree to abide by all the terms of this agreement, you must cease using and return or destroy all copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in your possession. If you paid a fee for obtaining a copy of or access to a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work and you do not agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement, you may obtain a refund from the person or entity to whom you paid the fee as set forth in paragraph 1.e.8. 1.b. Project Gutenberg is a registered trademark. It may only be used on or associated in any way with an electronic work by people who agree to be bound by the terms of this agreement. There are a few things that you can do with most Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works even without complying with the full terms of this agreement. See paragraph 1.c below. There are a lot of things you can do with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works if you follow the terms of this agreement and help preserve free future access to Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. See paragraph 1.e below. 1.c. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the Foundation or PGLAF, owns a compilation copyright in the collection of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Nearly all the individual works in the collection are in the public domain in the United States. If an individual work is unprotected by copyright law in the United States and you are located in the United States, we do not claim a right to prevent you from copying, distributing, performing, displaying or creating derivative works based on the work as long as all references to Project Gutenberg are removed. Of course, we hope that you will support the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol mission of promoting free access to electronic works by freely sharing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works in compliance with the terms of this agreement for keeping the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol name associated with the work. You can easily comply with the terms of this agreement by keeping this work in the same format with its attached full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license when you share it without charge with others. 1.d. The copyright laws of the place where you are located also govern what you can do with this work. Copyright laws in most countries are in a constant state of change. If you are outside the United States, check the laws of your country in addition to the terms of this agreement before downloading, copying, displaying, performing, distributing or creating derivative works based on this work or any other Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. The Foundation makes no representations concerning the copyright status of any work in any country other than the United States. 1.e. Unless you have removed all references to Project Gutenberg, 1.e.1. The following sentence, with active links to, or other immediate access to, the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license must appear prominently whenever any copy of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, any work on which the phrase Project Gutenberg appears, or with which the phrase Project Gutenberg is associated, is accessed, displayed, performed, viewed, copied or distributed. This ebook is for the use of anyone anywhere in the United States and most other parts of the world at no cost and with almost no restrictions whatsoever. You may copy it, give it away or reuse it under the terms of the Project Gutenberg license included with this ebook or online at www.gutenberg.org. If you are not located in the United States, you will have to check the laws of the country where you are located before using this ebook. 1.e.2. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is derived from texts not protected by U.S. copyright law, does not contain a notice indicating that it is posted with permission of the copyright holder, the work can be copied and distributed to anyone in the United States without paying any fees or charges. If you are redistributing or providing access to a work with the phrase Project Gutenberg associated with or appearing on the work, you must comply either with the requirements of paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 or obtain permission for the use of the work and the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark as set forth in paragraphs 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.3. If an individual Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work is posted with the permission of the copyright holder, your use and distribution must comply with both paragraphs 1.e.1 through 1.e.7 and any additional terms imposed by the copyright holder. Additional terms will be linked to the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license for all works posted with the permission of the copyright holder found at the beginning of this work. 1.e.4 Do not unlink or detach or remove the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license terms from this work, or any files containing a part of this work or any other work associated with Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. 1.e.5 Do not copy, display, perform, distribute or redistribute this electronic work, or any part of this electronic work, without prominently displaying the sentence set forth in paragraph 1.e.1 with active links or immediate access to the full terms of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. 1.e.6 You may convert to and distribute this work in any binary, compressed, marked up, non-proprietary or proprietary form, including any word processing or hypertext form. However, if you provide access to or distribute copies of a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work in a format other than plain vanilla ASCII or other format used in the official version posted on the official Project Gutenberg trademark symbol website, www.gutenberg.org, you must, at no additional cost, fee or expense to the user, provide a copy, a means of exporting a copy, or a means of obtaining a copy upon request, of the work in its original plain vanilla ASCII or other form. Any alternate format must include the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license as specified in paragraph 1.e.1. 1.e.7 Do not charge a fee for access to, viewing, displaying, performing, copying or distributing any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works unless you comply with paragraph 1.e.8 or 1.e.9. 1.e.8 You may charge a reasonable fee for copies of or providing access to or distributing Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works provided that you pay a royalty fee of 20% of the gross profits you derive from the use of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works calculated using the method you already use to calculate your applicable taxes. The fee is owed to the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, but he has agreed to donate royalties under this paragraph to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Royalty payments must be paid within 60 days following each date on which you prepare, or are legally required to prepare, your periodic tax returns. Royalty payments should be clearly marked as such and sent to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation at the address specified in Section 4, Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. You provide a full refund of any money paid by a user who notifies you in writing, or by email, within 30 days of receipt that he does not agree to the terms of the full Project Gutenberg trademark symbol license. You must require such a user to return or destroy all copies of the works possessed in a physical medium and discontinue all use of and all access to other copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. You provide, in accordance with paragraph 1.f.3, a full refund of any money paid for a work or a replacement copy, if a defect in the electronic work is discovered and reported to you within 90 days of receipt of the work. You comply with all other terms of this agreement for free distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol works. 1.e.9. If you wish to charge a fee or distribute a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work or group of works on different terms than are set forth in this agreement, you must obtain permission in writing from the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the manager of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark. Contact the Foundation as set forth in Section 3 below. 1.f1.f.1 Project Gutenberg volunteers and employees expend considerable effort to identify, do copyright research on, transcribe and proofread works not protected by U.S. copyright law in creating the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection. Despite these efforts, Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, and the medium on which they may be stored, may contain defects such as, but not limited to, incomplete, inaccurate or corrupt data, transcription errors, a copyright or other intellectual property infringement, a defective or damaged disk or other medium, a computer virus, or computer codes that damage or cannot be read by your equipment. 1.f.2 Limited warranty, disclaimer of damages, except for the right of replacement or refund described in paragraph 1.f.3, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, the owner of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol trademark, and any other party distributing a Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic work under this agreement, disclaim all liability to you for damages, costs and expenses, including legal fees. You agree that you have no remedies for negligence, strict liability, breach of warranty or breach of contract except those provided in paragraph 1.f.3. You agree that the Foundation, the trademark owner, and any distributor under this agreement will not be liable to you for actual, direct, indirect, consequential, punitive or incidental damages even if you give notice of the possibility of such damage. 1.f.3 Limited right of replacement or refund. If you discover a defect in this electronic work within 90 days of receiving it, you can receive a refund of the money, if any, you paid for it by sending a written explanation to the person you received the work from. If you received the work on a physical medium, you must return the medium with your written explanation. The person or entity that provided you with the defective work may elect to provide a replacement copy in lieu of a refund. If you received the work electronically, the person or entity providing it to you may choose to give you a second opportunity to receive the work electronically in lieu of a refund. If the second copy is also defective, you may demand a refund in writing without further opportunities to fix the problem. 1.f.4 except for the limited right of replacement or refund set forth in paragraph 1.f.3. This work is provided to you as is, with no other warranties of any kind, express or implied, including but not limited to warranties of merchantability or fitness for any purpose. 1.f.5. Some states do not allow disclaimers of certain implied warranties or the exclusion or limitation of certain types of damages. If any disclaimer or limitation set forth in this agreement violates the law of the state applicable to this agreement, the agreement shall be interpreted to make the maximum disclaimer or limitation permitted by the applicable state law. The invalidity or unenforceability of any provision of this agreement shall not void the remaining provisions. 1.f.6. Indemnity. You agree to indemnify and hold the foundation, the trademark owner, any agent or employee of the foundation, anyone providing copies of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works in accordance with this agreement, and any volunteers associated with the production, promotion and distribution of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works, harmless from all liability, costs and expenses, including legal fees, that arise directly or indirectly from any of the following which you do or cause to occur. A. Distribution of this or any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work. B. Alteration, modification, or additions or deletions to any Project Gutenberg trademark symbol work, and C. Any defect you cause. Section 2. Information about the mission of Project Gutenberg trademark symbol. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol is synonymous with the free distribution of electronic works in formats readable by the widest variety of computers, including obsolete, old, middle-aged and new computers. It exists because of the efforts of hundreds of volunteers and donations from people in all walks of life. Volunteers and financial support to provide volunteers with the assistance they need are critical to reaching Project Gutenberg trademark symbol's goals and ensuring that the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol collection will remain freely available for generations to come. In 2001, the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation was created to provide a secure and permanent future for Project Gutenberg trademark symbol and future generations. To learn more about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation and how your efforts and donations can help, see sections 3 and 4 and the Foundation information page at www.gutenberg.org. Section 3. Information about the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. The Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation is a non-profit 501(c)(3) educational corporation organized under the laws of the state of Mississippi and granted tax-exempt status by the Internal Revenue Service. The Foundation's IN or Federal Tax Identification Number is 64-6221541. Contributions to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation are tax-deductible to the full extent permitted by U.S. federal laws and your state's laws. The Foundation's business office is located at 809 North 1500 West, Salt Lake City, UT 84116, 801, 596, 1887. Email contact links and up-to-date contact information can be found at the Foundation's website and official page at www.gutenberg.org/contact section 4. Information about donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol depends upon and cannot survive without widespread public support and donations to carry out its mission of increasing the number of public domain and licensed works that can be freely distributed in machine-readable form accessible by the widest array of equipment including outdated equipment. Many small donations, $1 to $5,000, are particularly important to maintaining tax-exempt status with the IRS. The Foundation is committed to complying with the laws regulating charities and charitable donations in all 50 states of the United States. Compliance requirements are not uniform and it takes a considerable effort, much paperwork and many fees to meet and keep up with these requirements. We do not solicit donations in locations where we have not received written confirmation of compliance. To send donations or determine the status of compliance for any particular state, visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. While we cannot and do not solicit contributions from states where we have not met the solicitation requirements, we know of no prohibition against accepting unsolicited donations from donors in such states who approach us with offers to donate. International donations are gratefully accepted, but we cannot make any statements concerning tax treatment of donations received from outside the United States. U.S. laws alone swamp our small staff. Please check the Project Gutenberg web pages for current donation methods and addresses. Donations are accepted in a number of other ways including checks, online payments and credit card donations. To donate, please visit www.gutenberg.org/donate. Section 5. General information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol electronic works. Professor Michael S. Hart was the originator of the Project Gutenberg trademark symbol concept of a library of electronic works that could be freely shared with anyone. For 40 years, he produced and distributed Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks with only a loose network of volunteer support. Project Gutenberg trademark symbol ebooks are often created from several printed editions, all of which are confirmed as not protected by copyright in the US unless a copyright notice is included. Thus, we do not necessarily keep ebooks in compliance with any particular paper edition. Most people start at our website, which has the main PG search facility, www.gutenberg.org. This website includes information about Project Gutenberg trademark symbol, including how to make donations to the Project Gutenberg Literary Archive Foundation, how to help produce our new ebooks, and how to subscribe to our email newsletter to hear about new ebooks.